I don't know if this is working. Should be. Maybe. I don't know. Wow, it looks super purple. That's funny. And my shirt's invisible. It's cool. We're just gonna roll with it. Yep. That's what we're doing. Okay, so let me find my notes here. I feel like the music is loud. And what have they done with chat? Maybe I'm just not seeing like how to enable it or something. I don't get it. It used to be right here. Damn you, YouTube. Why do you change things? Sorry guys, where the hell? Well, that's a little frustrating. Let me see if it's in the edit thing. Live chat is disabled for this video. Why? It says it's disabled. Why? Tell me why. What happens when you're gonna... What? So... Sorry guys, not a streamer. On the left, click setting, click channel, advanced, audience, yes, always upload content made for kids. Those channels that never upload. What the hell? I'll try this right quick and then maybe no chat. I want chat though. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know. Do I need to put tip by you, personalized, something? Sorry. What if I put no, it's not made for kids? Aha! Okay, so I still don't see it though. What the hell are you supposed to do? Where's the chat? You bastard! Well, it says it's on, but I don't see it anywhere. Maybe I have to, no. You sons of bitches. How do I do that? Damn it. Okay. Kind of irritating. I'm gonna try something real quick. Hopefully don't get too crazy of an echo. I mean, maybe I gotta like... Son of a... I don't know what that does. Okay, let me try one last thing and then fuck it, no chat. That's weird, you have to say it's not made for kids. Weird, I don't get that, but okay. Whatever you say, YouTube. Okay, if I do this, pause that. Alright, I'm gonna see chat, but it's gonna be like super delayed. Anywho. Alright, so where's my notes here? I gotta put this over here. Let's see. So, if you are unaware, the server company that I was renting from wiped the server because I didn't respond within 48 hours, blah, blah, blah. That's crazy. So I changed companies. These guys will give me 2 weeks, which is better. It was a problem with their website, though. It really wasn't me. I swear to God, I tried to message them. They said as soon as I made the payment, the ticket was closed and deleted, and so they weren't getting it supposedly. And yeah, that company was called wholesaleinternet.net. So be warned if you choose to use them. So we got that sorted. We got the server back up, and I say we as in Digital Zombie. If you guys have played Reign of Darkness, you probably bumped into him. He's awesome. He's a really good server admin. That's what you call it, I think. So he set it up way better. We've got like a mirroring kind of thing going on, and we've got auto backups thanks to him. So that's pretty awesome. And I'm still waiting on a couple meetings to finalize some of the payment processing garbage that I'm sure you guys have heard me bitch about a lot. Sorry. This is really just like a vlog of, okay, here's what I'm going through making a game by myself. And there's a lot of challenges that you don't see coming, which I see a lot of people very much underestimate game development, and I very much did too, but for the last, I don't know, 8 years, I've definitely had a healthy respect for not knowing what you don't know. That is the most important thing. But there's this thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect. People think they know, and then once they start doing it, they realize how much they don't know, and blah, blah, blah. But what I really underestimated was the difficulty of trying to run a business, manage a team. That's a whole new bag of tricks and shit, you know? So, to be honest, I suck at managing. I can't be the programmer and the tech artist and set up quests and items and all the crap if I'm trying to manage people. So that has been a challenge. We'll get through it somehow. But Zombie is awesome. He is working on restoring any purchases for the time that we lost. And I mean, we're gonna make it right. I don't want to say I'm gonna wipe the database, but I feel like it might be appropriate. So really, it would be fair for everybody. Everybody'd have to start back at level 1. The only thing you get to keep would be, I mean, we're discussing it like, okay, if you've spent 100 hours, we're gonna pull that from Steam. Then maybe we give you a level 100 and X amount of gear, whatever. So don't freak out. We're gonna try to do something fair, and I'll let you know beforehand. Or it's that, or I make like a legacy server where that's the old database, and then a new server where if you want to, you start fresh. I think that's probably the best option. But there's a lot of possibilities. So anything you've purchased is going to be pulled from Steam's database and reinstated. So that's that. You won't lose anything. So let's see. Let's just cross that off. And by the way, the Steam API is, it sucks. I don't like it. Oh, what's up, Scribbles? Mo Seltzer. That's right, man. I got my brace on here. Got some new tendonitis kicking in. That's new. Arthritis kicking in the shoulder. I don't know, man. It's probably all this Mountain Dew I drink, but it's so good. I can't stop. It's too good, guys. I need it. It's my go juice. All right, so once I get a response from the processor, I have some specific questions I need answered, and then we're gonna just sign the paperwork. We did all the testing, which is I can show you. One thing that I've been not sure about is, there's been a couple of people who are like, dude, you're sharing a little too much with the code and server. But I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not like showing personal information or sensitive stuff, but it does show how things work, which is another part of what I'm trying to do. I want to help other devs, and they can see what I did and improve upon it, whatever. So what you're seeing here is basically we're pulling the current tokens, and then we add to it. After we return that, then we're going to update with the new amount for that user, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I'm not going to say a whole lot more about it, but it works. So the webhook works. Thank you, Nevin. Awesome job. Yeti, or he's in the server as Feral, he's awesome too. I mean, like, it's really weird because I can't afford to pay these guys, but they're so kind to help. So for me to say that we have a team or a studio, that's an exaggeration. It's not accurate, you know. So it is a one-man band, but on the other hand, I don't want to discount these guys. They're awesome. They're helping a ton. I might be able to show you a picture of what Yeti's working on. It's gonna be cool. So we have really, I mean, anybody who's played would agree, I'm sure, but the Fallen Ruins, that zone, that is, I've been trying to fix and work with that piece of shit for way too long. I'm done with it. It's been almost a year, in fact. I just realized the other day. Like, what a piece of garbage. It still runs like shit, looks like shit. So, what we're gonna do, I'll draw it. Let me get this picture though, if I can. I want to show you a little bit of the other thing. I have the bracers! I don't know what you mean, Scribbles! But I think that means something to do with this, or I don't know, but they better have some good stats, man. Let's enchant them. We should enchant them, yes. Oh yeah, and he's made some cool stuff, which I am clicking too many things. Sorry guys, sorry. I need more screens. I got 3, but it's not enough. Or I just need bigger ones, I don't know. Ooh, here's one. Let me open this so you can seize it. This one. So that looks way better than the Fallen Ruins, and that's just like super basic. I'm excited to get in there and actually fancy it up, make it look pretty, you know. There's another image of that. That's our little test orc guy, and the frames are way better. They out there, 182. That's with nothing in it though, so I don't want to get my hopes up, but it's looking promising. There's a shield. Yeti's made a ton of things. The shield and this mace, they'll be in the store once we get this finalized. What a pain in my ass. It really, you know, for me, it's just taken all the creativity out of it when I have to deal with I guess you'd say the business side of stuff? I don't know. It's not my favorite. And this is, by the way, using Map Magic and our current assets, and it looks pretty cool. So we're gonna have essentially a zone that has 3 climates. This was this picture right here is very early, so not representative of final, but there'll be a couple lakes. There's going to be a wintry side, a grass in the middle, and desert over here. And like I've said before, rain at this moment is still very much a vertical slice. There's quite a bit of what I want in there, but there's still so much more to come. I mean, I've got 130 skills that are hidden because they're not ready yet, and you know, I'll roll those out when the time is right. We need races, we need character creation, guilds, you know, all that stuff. But there's basically, the GUI must be updated before I add new features, otherwise that's just silly because I'd have to redo it later. Not doing that. So that's gonna be a big process because there's literally probably 1,000 some odd little game objects in the GUI scene. I bitched about this also before, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but to anybody who doesn't know, that's a big task, but it must be done. I'm using an older thing called NGUI, and it just isn't cutting it anymore. I don't know if I open this one. So, we will. I'm gonna have to do that. So that's gonna be a couple weeks of reconfiguring, and the code works a little differently, so I gotta deal with that. Then, the biggest thing that I gotta do is server authoritative architecture. That's what I'm gonna doodle some things and just show you what I'm thinking. I'm gonna explain the old system. I don't have a picture of the land all pretty with snow and desert and forest, but I think it'd be pretty cool. I mean, it's not huge, but it's big enough that we can pack in some good content, and small enough that just me and Yeti can handle it. So that is what it is. We don't have the manpower. Oh yeah. Let me show you. I guess I gotta open this one. And okay, so one last thing on the land, the plans. Oh, and so even just for, it's like it's 2 tiles that are 1K by 1K, which I should open this first. Thinking this. No, bad click. Oops. Got a little trigger happy with the clicking. Open the wrong scene. Whoops. All right, so I'm going to show you how big a 1K by 1K tile is, and then basically the new zone is 2 of those, so it's fairly big. And then probably the biggest issue I'm going to have is I don't have character models. So if anybody's a character artist and you want to contribute and throw your name in the credits, and you can show your friends, look, I worked on this game. I don't know if that counts as a title under your belt. I don't know, but it'd have to meet certain requirements and such. But yeah, we need some characters. I just haven't found anything that looks good on the asset store, and I know assets, boo-hoo, blah blah blah. There's so much controversy about that, but you know what? That's what they're there for, so we're using them. And just don't have the manpower, so it is what it is. Let's focus on this one with the F key, and then we'll turn off the fog plane. Oh, this is the old one, and I gotta get this floating island back in. I want to do like a whole floating kind of either a dungeon or a small zone of like floating islands, kind of Avatar style. Not gonna lie, a little bit of a rip off there, but it'd be cool. Okay, so this is the one I meant to open. Yo, what up, Relic? Yeah, sorry, buddy. I just have had so many things come up. It's retarded. Sorry, that's an offensive word, I guess, nowadays. It sucks. That's what I should say. But yeah, a lot of back and forth and fixing, and this broke, that broke, and then real life problems. And I don't want to sit and bitch about my health problems anymore, but it's relevant because if you're the only guy running the show and you can't operate because you're injured, then it's gonna cause problems. So otherwise, I don't want to talk about it, but it's what it is. So I've been going to doctor's appointments, and we got to do some tests, and I've got whatever neuropathy and all these. Oh my God, so many problems in my spine. I don't even. The biggest one is neuroformal stenosis, but it's severe and it can cause paralyzation. And this arm, I'm losing feeling in these 2 fingers, and it gets like this sharp pain all the way down here. Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Sorry, but it makes it hard to work. Okay, so here, what we have is, let's turn on the lights, eh? Okay, so that's a 1K by 1K. And this is, I need a new computer, that's another issue. Okay, there we go, catching up. So this scene has caused so many problems. This is back when Brian started, and you know he as far as I know, still works with procedural worlds, and they build worlds procedurally. So that was what we were trying to do, but we needed some extra tools that weren't ready, and it just didn't go as planned. So otherwise, I wouldn't have committed to such a big area. It was 16 of these tiles, just so you know. That would be recalculously huge. Way too hard to fill in. Even this is just ridiculous for me and Yeti to fill in. But here's the plan. So Yeti has done a ton of work over here. B1. I have to turn off objects because it just runs like dog shit. So I wrote a little script that culls, kind of like my own culling on top of the built-in culling, and it does help. So all those objects get turned off when you're about, I don't know, that far away. If you can see that. So each of these sections are turned, the objects on them are turned on and off based on your distance to it. So it's kind of more or less, it's just once you get like here-ish, maybe like right here is where they turn on, because you could see them by that point. So Yeti has done some awesome stuff in here. Come on, lagging again, jeez. And if you played it, you know this is like in the darkness, and the darkness is the plague. I guess some people don't know that. I'm still working on like onboarding process, how it feels and how you learn to play the game, and you know, I need a bit more hand-holdy tutorial stuff, which I'm not gonna go nuts with it. So I know a lot of people like the no hand-holding, which that was my intention. I think games do too much of it, but there is a degree that we do need. And yeah, so anyways, I need some more story. I'm gonna probably go to Fiverr, get some voice actors. I saw somebody emailed me the other day about voice acting. Probably take them up on that, or check it out at least. So this whole area, you're gonna have, I've already started. There's a crypt in here. It's open world. If it's green, it's open world. If it's purple, it's private. So anybody can go in there. The level goes all the way up to 150, I believe. So it's a very small dungeon, but it's going to be added onto. But what I'm thinking is you'll have to solve a puzzle here to open this gate, and then you solve a puzzle here to open that gate. And if you've been in there, you've seen these little runes on the ground that I made that glow, and it's going to be some kind of thing to do with that, where you got to figure out the order to open them in. And there is a boss over here which will keep that. So essentially what it'll be, now Brian, sorry buddy, but you really didn't nail the idea with the volcano. I mean, yeah, this whole terrain is just blah. But what we'll do, look at that shitty shit going on there. What the hell? Okay, don't select that. There's just too much shit in this scene. Alright, so we want this off, you off, and you stay on. So if you can kind of picture something, get off that selection. Yeah. So it's I'm gonna flatten out the edges. The water, it had a donut shape because the volcano was supposed to be right over it, and the volcano was gonna go down into hell. So we had to go through the water collider without triggering the water effects and such. So that if you're wondering, that's why there's a hole in the water. But just picture these edges flattened out. This little volcano is gone. There goes my notes. Oops. And we'll tuck in these edges, but essentially what you're gonna have is gonna be just like an open world. It'll be very dark, foggy, like this will be totally corrupted. But it's going to be an open world dungeon, and then that'll be tucked in, say, the corner of, and you just kind of have to use your imagination with me here, I guess. I was going to draw it, but I think it's easier this way. Say like, if you imagine this area, this isn't done, but the open world dungeon I'll probably tuck in over here, So you'll go from the current zone, the Blackmoor, once you've gone through D1, 2, 3, and possibly 4. I was gonna have 4 pop you out in the volcano, so imagine this has a volcano that just spirals down into hell. So the deeper you go, the more evil shit gets. And yeah, I think it'll be cool. But we've got 2 extra dungeons that I need to prop and place enemies. One of my dev buddies, Sean, he's figured out how to make random dungeon generator. It's an asset pack, but you have to, you're gonna have to do some server work. It's got to synchronize on the server. So I don't know why everybody thinks that assets you just drop them in and then boom, game. It drives me fucking insane. So to anybody who thinks it's that easy, I challenge you, go grab those assets, put them together. Just do it. Just stop talking. Don't talk the talk, walk the walk. Do it. That's what I tried to do here. Brought a actual playable game to Kickstarter, but still, people are like, I'm sorry, that I shouldn't even talk about that, but it is crazy how much gamers expect, and it doesn't seem to matter. I shouldn't. I just won't. Never mind. Just whatever. I'm doing okay. Finally able to see my best friend for the first time in over a year. He's gonna be a dad in October, so I'm really. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's actually really awesome. I mean, I don't have any kids, but seeing my friends' kids and my nieces grow up, I know it's a hard job, but it's pretty awesome. And you'll have somebody wipe your ass when you get older. That's a bonus. So yeah, it looks solid so far. Thanks. I mean, it's gonna be better. This one I didn't even want to show because it's not as cool as the one that we got going, but it's gonna be pretty sweet. There's a ton of quests, which Waylon, thank you to Waylon. I forgot to mention him. He's helping with moderation. Thank God, because it's like, I don't know, man. Steam, they take so much, they do very little. And then you've got this crowd of people who don't really care the background of the development, so they get a game and then they expect everything. Because, Steam has all these awesome games, and they don't give a shit that it's in early access. They don't care how many people are working on it. And so they'll sit and shit post on things they don't even know about. So Waylon's helping on that, and I really appreciate that, because not only is it discouraging to read shit posting, but when it's not true, it's just like, oh my god, dude. Oh, piss me off. Okay, there I go bitching again. Gotta dial it back. The zone is fucking huge. Yeah, I think two 1K maps, I mean, that's pretty big. So visualize, I meant to do this too. Say, was it that one? So that's 2 1K tiles. So the zone that we're working on is 2 of these. And that would be in reference to approximately this. So that's 2 1K tiles. It's a lot of space. And we'll divide it up like Waylon had suggested ages ago. But it'll probably, wherever you land, probably start you in the middle here, so you can go to desert or to the frosty area, or through the green area. But say the boat lands here, so you leave Blackmoor, you wind up here, and then there'll be some quests to point you in the right direction. I never even got to the point where I could point the player to the boat in a quest, because the zone was just not done, and I was so fucking sick of it. So this one, the way Map Magic works, and Yeti he kicks ass, man. He's fast. So we definitely should be able to handle this. But I think this will be like, say it'll just fan out maybe. So let's say Blackmoor gets you level 30, and then this will be level up to 40s, 30s, 40s, and then 40s, 50s, 50s, 60s, 60s, 70s, something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to probably push it up to 100 in a corner here, and then we'll have that dungeon I was showing or what I'm saying, rather, because it's not even ready. But this tile will be a new scene that you'll load into as an open world dungeon where all the players can go in there and just blow up the bosses. And that would be level 100. And of course, the dungeon scales. So when we get the volcano in there, and you'll spiral down, hit a dungeon, spiral down, hit a dungeon, down, hit a dungeon, down, hit a dungeon. So probably a lot of the dungeons will be moved over here, like D5 through 8, and then the 2 new ones, and then the open world one. So there'll be plenty in there, I think. Game is actually more playable than most indie MMOs. Thanks, man. Yeah, that's crazy. I just I don't even know. I don't know what to do about that. It's like I really think I did too much some days. Like I should have done less. That's so sad. So sad, but so true. Let's go with this screen. All right, so lots of errors. This screen's like right in front of my face, in case you're wondering. It's a little draw-on tablet. Yeah, you can barely see it, but you scribble on it and shit. And why not try the Epic Game Store? Yes, agreed. I've been thinking about that. Like, I don't know, man. Steam needs to. They need to fucking reevaluate, because it's not a fair system what they got going on. It's very greedy. You don't have much choice in anything. There's only one payment processor that I know of that has a partnership with Steam that you can get a lower fee rather than the 30. So I am thinking about this, but it is a lot of fucking work to make the game. It's basically 4 different games. If I have 4 publishers, Steam, Epic, which they're awesome. They take a lot less, significantly less. Sales tax still gonna kill you. I'm a little confused when they say they withhold tax. I don't like that. That's mandatory. That seems really stupid. Like even when you go get a job, you can claim 0, and it's up to you. So those 2 are the big dogs. Then you got, well, actually, an upcoming big dog who I'm so grateful to be on board with. I actually got signed up with Ultra.io. You have to check it out. It's super cool. They use cryptocurrency. It's not mandatory. I don't think. Don't quote me on that, but I believe you can transact, buy things with just cash, but they sell in-game items as NFTs, which is super cool for everybody, I think. And they have it's not out yet. They're launching, I want to say December. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's when they're launching. I've had a couple meetings with them. They're just really solid dudes and super smart. Obviously, I can't tell you all the things they told me because NDA, but they got so much cool stuff going on. I'm excited. And then with NFTs, to any developers out there, that's pretty damn cool because that goes on the blockchain. It's cryptocurrency, and you can set up a payment. So it goes on their marketplace, and let's say it's a rare item and people like it, then obviously the community, the economy will decide the price of it, right? But you will get a percentage every time that item trades hands. So every time it sells, it's like residual income for the developer, which is another thing that blows me away when people are like, oh, there's a store in the game. What the fuck do you think games run on? Just in this case, yeah, it's running on a dream. One guy who's stupid enough to do all this work for peanuts. And otherwise, that's not how it works. It blows my mind. I really worry about people who can't even grasp the basics of the economics that you're gonna have to charge for a product that is constantly maintained. Duh. Oh man, I rant too much. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so let me do some doodling. But what was the 4th one? So we had Steam, Epic, Ultra. I swear there's a 4th distributor option. that I'm not thinking of? Shit, I don't know. There's something. But yeah, I ideally put your game on all of them, you know? That would make sense. I'm gonna wear this goofy little glove so I don't scratch my screen, but it's kind of like fucking, I don't know. I feel like a ninja or something with it on. Yeah, it's pretty weird, but you don't want to scratch your screen, you know, so gotta do it. So this is how I take notes, by the way. It drives people nuts. I don't know why, but I'm a visual person, so I take screenshots and then I go through and highlight whatever, right? So like, make a new wire there. And so you can see like right here, this is me testing Xolo and making sure that that worked, and it fired, it found the user, validated, and then there's test payments going through there. So that's cool. And then this one, well, let's see. This note is, man, I don't know how things get messed up, but there's a little teammate indicator. You can see it right there. And that was on the wrong goddamn layer. Somehow, I didn't do that. So, somebody playing around in the project, in the loading scene, had to have changed this goddamn layer. So that is a thing that has happened so many more times than it should. I don't want to be a dick, but that should not happen, where your team messes with stuff and then you don't even know it's broken. So yeah, that's frustrating. I need to set up a little ping, so that's what that is. And then this note, I don't know if anybody's been lagging, but these things need to be set to destroy themselves. And if there's any devs in here, do we know what this is? This is new. I feel like it's something to do with the way I parse my items, but if anybody has any idea, http parser. I guess I just need to Google it further, but illegal character. I feel like that's gotta be my item setup. Alright, so I want to show you guys. You can see this right now. This is SmartFox, by the way. This console. It really sucks to try to work with just a black box. This is all you get, just derp. And I'm like I say, I'm a visual person. So what I want to do is set up. Ideally, it'd be cool to run an editor and have what I'm going to call Rainbot. It's going to be like the brain or the referee. So let me show you how I see that going. Ignore that color. It's just, I like green and red as the default, but you just do that and there you go. So let's say, now I've described this to a few people, and you know, I named the company Unorthodox for a reason. I do weird shit, okay? This is how I roll. So, but you know, maybe it'll spur some ideas in other people, other developers, and there's just so many ways you could build a server system, you know, a structure. Like, to anybody who doesn't know, SmartFox, it's essentially, I'm just using it to pass along packets. However, and that's SmartFox server, so boom, 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 right? So here's player 1, player 2, and if player 1 casts a spell, like some cool spiky things come out the ground, right? You know that spell? And then it's like, you know, like that, and then there's some debris, and but he casts that spell, and this guy, he's not gonna see that because, you know, you gotta synchronize that shit. So when you cast it, you need to send that packet to your server with the name of the spell. So the particle effect, I forget the exact name, but whatever. We'll just call it spikes. So you send that, and then this guy gets it, and if there's anybody else, they all got to get the same packet so that they can take this and spawn it for themselves, right? So be like duplicate, duplicate. Some people call it replication. I refer to these as remotes. If this is you, these are remote players on your screen, but they still need to see what you're doing, and they need to see you cast the animation and the sound and blah 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 blah. So that's kind of the basic stuff. Let's see if I can back up a little here. Now, what I think was the intention with SmartFox, and I'm not saying SmartFox is the best or anything like that. I think it works great though. It's the only problem is the documentation sucks. There's not good examples, so it's rough to deal with, and apparently it's outdated in a lot of areas. And you know, I don't know. To me, it's fine. It works. So I'm gonna use it as kind of like the middleman. It's just gonna be the mailman, and it's just gonna send out packets. That's all I want it to do. Is you do something like this spike here, and it's just got to tell everybody else who's listening, right? Anybody else in the room is listening. Now, if this spike is attacking player 2, then we need to calculate damage. So in that case, we send this as spike attack, and the typical way that people, from what I understand, would build out SmartFox is you just kind of add on to this, and you add this big old fat booty back end shit, and then it's got to do all the thinking. It's going to calc damage and blah, blah, blah. It's got to keep track of position and enemies and a lot of shit. But what I hate about that is you still only have this piece of shit. That's all you get is this fucking box. And it's so frustrating. Like right now, the dictionary seems to be, I make a cross-reference dictionary when people log on, because to communicate through rooms with chat, I need that. And because you have the username and then the actual character name. And because a user can have 5 characters, we don't know which one they're on, but the only way to send the packet is to know the username. So you send it to that user, then the cross-reference dictionary looks up the user and says, oh, okay, I know who that is, and here's the character he's on right now. So that as an example, it's not the right count, I'll tell you that. But debugging it is a pain in the ass. So for me, just having a visual representation would be so much better. So this is my plan, is we're just gonna stick to the mailman system here. And instead of building all this crap into SmartFox, it's just gonna handle the basic shit. Creating rooms and I still don't even want to pass chat through it, but ping pong to keep the connection alive, sure. There's database. It's still going to be the connection to the database. But what we'll do is when you make this attack, rather than, and this is where I share too much, but I don't think many people watch this. I don't know. But to developers, we all know that with an online game, you don't do it client side. This is client side, and this is server side, obviously. So you need the server to be the authority, and that's why it's called authoritative server, right? And instead of trying to build it out in Java, which sucks, most people agree, I'm just going to pass the packet to something I'm calling Rainbot, and this will be a build of the game that has all the same scripts. I don't know, I think me personally, I've got 130, 140 scripts in there, something like that. There's a shit ton of code. It's probably like 300,000 lines, but you know, you could cut out comments and condense it and whatever. I don't know. It's a lot of code. But the point is, Rainbot knows what a spell is. So it already has the spell properties, the spell damage, for example. So if it knows that you're sending, let's say, spell 12 from, I should have put this first, but let's say it's the sorcerer would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 6th dictionary, so it'd be okay. Look up this spell, number 6, and we're looking into that dictionary. So we have, there's actually 10 classes. 2 are hidden. There's a lot more that I want to do. A lot more coming. So, and that's the assassin and druid. I'll just run it for you. There you go. But it'll look up out of that list of all the classes, 10 classes, find number 6, then it's going to open that up, and then it's going to look down and find spell 12, and then inside of there we have all the things we need to know. We know how much mana, we know the element, is it, you know, fire or frost, whatever. So the advantage here is you've got all your code that the client needs anyways, all the types and specific item types, you know, that you create, like bread, water, sword, armor, horse, all that shit. Java doesn't know what that is, so you would have to write definitions, rewrite all of it that you've done here. You'd have to rewrite it all here so it knows what the hell it's talking about. Now, of course, you can, you know, take shortcuts and things, but nah. I think this is, for me, this makes the most sense. So we send it over here, and we say, okay, look up player 1 and get the stats. So we'll just say dot stats. We'll kind of pretend it's code here. And we get those stats, and this is going to have like your damage reduction and all that shit. And then we get the target, and let's say the target was player 2. So now we have player 2's stats, which that's the key here, is when you log in, we're going to put you in a dictionary. The shit's going to get, I mean, it's already been really boring, but this is probably the really, really boring part. So you're going to have a dictionary of players and enemies, which I call E-units. And then we can simply do the math between these two if this is the attack that we're calculating. So it could also be an enemy. This target could be an enemy. But either way, when somebody logs in, we got them, we put them in that dictionary. The enemies are already going to be in the dictionary. And then all we got to do is calculate, okay, what was your final damage based on your stats, your equipment bonuses, talents, all that. Let's say it was 1,000, and then let's say homeboy here had let's say that equals 1,000, but he had 30% damage reduction to, let's say that's frost, okay, and then when you minus that 30%, you're going to minus 300, so the end result 700, right? Then we're going to take that, pack it up as I call it CDAT, combat data, and then we send it on back to this dude to, well, actually we update both of their HP and their mana. So the server's going to keep track of those numbers. So you could change your health, you know, and cheat, but it's not going to matter because the server is the authority, has your actual health and the amount of damage that was taken away from it. So hopefully that makes sense. That is not currently how it is, but that is how it has to be. So that is why there's this phase of nothing, because I've gone back and forth with quite a few people. Love you guys, but I gotta do what I know, and I like my way. It keeps it simple. We just use this layer to pass packets, and I don't got to deal with this crappy language, and I don't got to rewrite all these definitions, but I've seen a lot of different hierarchies and architectures, and they're great, but unless you're going to do it, yeah, I'm going my way. So that's been kind of a holdup because I was evaluating, there are advantages, and yes, you can do it better, but until we absolutely need that, then yeah, it doesn't necessarily make any sense to build out this system that's made for, say, 10,000 users when you have 10 users. So it's a bridge that I'll cross when I get there. But honestly, I don't even think it's gonna be an issue. I think this handles it, as long as the VM, the virtual machine, the server that everything's running on, has enough power. It should be fine. I mean, computers are fucking great at math. I don't know if you knew that, but goddamn, they can do math really good. Sorry, I'm being a smartass, but yeah, I mean, ultimately it just boils down to a bunch of math, and that's fine. That is totally within reason for a pretty beefy virtual machine. So that's the plan. Now, and so as a player, I could see where it's like you log in and you're like, okay, this bug is still here. These monsters fucking bug out and they God mode on you. And yeah, I know. If I were to spend the time to fix it with the current client side build, it's just gonna have to be redone later. So, and in case you missed it, my approach was do a vertical slice. It's so much faster to do a client side than to build out this lengthy server, and just see if there's even any interest. So I think there's enough interest. I mean, I like the game. It's probably enough anyways for me, but I just really wanted to get it established and then work it out from there. So the trick is moving from client to server, and I don't know if that made sense to everybody, but it's critically important stuff that you have authority. Now, what you see with the God mode monsters, we'll just say God mode E-unit. That is because I came up with something that I call dynamic hosting, which really throws people off. Because basically you typically would have your server be the brain of all of the enemies. So it has to do the thinking for all AE units, right? So it's got to calculate position and target, and I just call it TG, target, and health and attacks and etc. Navigation is the tricky one. That, I guess, would fall under position, but yeah, whatever. So that would be the typical situation. However, because I chose to do instancing, where you can go into your own room, your own version of, say, Dungeon D1, Glass Caverns. So you can branch off and have D1 that's under, say, it's kind of like this. Let's say it's player 2. So this now is a room unique with its own enemies. 1, 2, and 3, and maybe 4 is dead, and 5 is dead, and we have to track all that shit. So if you were to do that, and then player 1 goes to D1, makes its own instance, his own instance with a different party. Now we've got 2 versions of the Glass Caverns. So it's tricky. Maybe somebody has a great answer for this, but the only thing I could imagine is that you launch a new kind of a headless Unity. So imagine this is a little instance of the game, same game the players are using, has all the same content, except it doesn't use a player. There is no player for this brain. All it does is keep track of the enemies, calculate their shit, and blah, blah, blah. So instead of all that, I have a pretty crazy system. It's super hard to explain. But what I do is the enemies, I guess I could leave that. Each enemy is controlled by whoever's there. So let's say enemy number 1, let's say we have a third player and he's teamed up with player 1. Then whoever is closest to enemy 1, we'll say E1, then E1, because it's just a game object on this computer, and his computer is measuring the distance to E1, and if he gets too close, then he becomes the host, and then he's going to send a packet to the server and say, hey, tell this dungeon that I am now the host of E1, and you need to tell P1, and if there was anybody else, it's not going to tell P2 because P2's up here. He's not listening. He doesn't need to know. But if there's P4 and 5, it's got to go tell them and update everybody, right? And the problem is, it's something to do with the position of the enemy not being definitive, and again, server authoritative. So the server has to be, and this is, your typical system, it's going to have the position completely accurate for everybody. When you call or are sent the position, rather, you're going to know exactly where it's at. So I think what's happening with this whole client-side system that I currently have, which is way easier to work with for short term, but obviously has this frustrating bug that I can't recreate when I want to. So that's why I don't know exactly what the issue is. But I think this guy maybe sees himself a little closer than these guys, when in reality maybe P1 was closer and should be the host. So they're both kind of fighting for that being the host. And I'm pretty sure if I did a revalidation and sent more packets, which you don't want to, you want to try to minimize the amount of packets that you're sending back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to all the players. But if I revalidated it, it would probably be fine, because in my setup, it is using SmartFox, not the external Rainbot that I'm going to use. But it has a host dictionary, so when P5 encounters E1, it's going to call to the server and say, hey, get me E1's host, and then return it back to P5. And then he says, oh, okay, I got P3 is the host, and then we run into race conditions, which it could be that too. So if P1 got there first, they were so close, like we're talking like you're right there neck and neck, and then whoever's got the fastest internet wins, basically. So if P1 gets there first, then it says he's the host, but then P3 thinks he's the host, and P5 gets the wrong data. So P5, when he attacks E1, this is getting crazy, I know. It's starting to look like that scene in where Charlie's mapped out this conspiracy in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's starting to look a bit like that. Yeah, I'm fully aware. Anywho, yeah, that's kind of what's going on. But if we have this one definitive point, it's measuring the distance, okay? So it is watching P1 distance to E1, and it's watching P3's distance to E1. So it's going to decide. And once, if it's set up like that, then that's that. We don't got to worry about the race condition and these guys jockeying for control. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of the shit I'm dealing with. It's not easy. For me, I don't see it as like, it's not that hard. It's just, I just got to go through the motions. And that's what I try to tell people all the time. It's one thing in your head, but when you go to do it, it's different every fucking time, guaranteed. So it's really frustrating for me, and sorry if I'm like making it sound like I'm talking to certain people. Love you guys, but it's frustrating to me because unless you make that system and show that it works, it's just theory, and it never works the way it's supposed to work. You just have to do it and figure it out. So I put too much time into trying to find a team, trying to find funding, which, fuck it, I give up. The cavalry never came. Fuck it, back to solo. I mean, the guys that are helping, love ya. Please help. But I'll take any help I can get. It's just, I'm not gonna go back and forth with server structure anymore. It's just, it is what it is. I'm gonna do it the way I know how to do it. It's gonna just take time. That's it. So beyond that, those are the two main things. Well, three things. Payment, gotta get that sorted. I don't like that when people contribute to the game, which is how I see it, because I put virtually everything back in. I have a little chunk, like I said in the last video. It's only enough to pay like 2 people for 2 months, literally. It's not enough to do shit with. So I'm just gonna hang on to it, and hopefully we can generate more. But if Steam is taking 30 goddamn %, that's horrible. That's, to me, I see this game, what I would like to do is do more, get the community more involved, but then that's so hard for me because I'm very much antisocial. I don't really talk to people. I don't know. I'm weird like that. So that's difficult. So I need some kind of community manager, which Zombie's been doing awesome with. Brian was doing that, and then I don't know what the hell happened. The idea though is we could have votings where we vote on the next area we're going to make. Is it going to be snowy? Is it going to be desert? Vote for the name of this boss. Vote for what type of rewards, and vote for how systems should work. Some things. I mean, there has to be one person driving the ship, and so yeah, I'm going to have to be the captain here and say, no, can't do that when need be. But otherwise, I see this as it could be really fun to kind of have a community, like where the community helps develop the game. But that's so difficult because not everybody can model, program, or set thing. Not everybody knows Unity. It's definitely a challenge. But that was my plan, was to go with more of a kind of open forum type idea, even though the problem is I don't have time and I don't talk enough. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I don't like Steam sticking their greedy hands in the pocket and taking 30% of what people are contributing. They are contributing to this, god damn it, not to you. What do you do, Steam? Jesus. Alright, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say, and if you listen this long, holy shit, you're a champ, or you had me on mute. Good job. But there's an update. I'm alive, game's alive, it ain't going nowhere. It's just in a state of difficult decisions that have to be made, and then there will be a good period of time with the payment shit's almost sorted, and hopefully, fingers crossed, then I'll have to look into what's it going to take to put it onto a different platform, other platforms like Epic, and I gotta go with Ultra. Those guys are awesome. So I hope it's not a big challenge. You guys totally need to check it out, ultra.io. Hopefully it's not a huge setup issue, but I definitely gotta go with that. And then the GUI overhaul, which, there's not much I could have done because at the time, NGUI was the best option. And then when they introduced PBR, physically based rendering, there was some conflicts with linear color space, and that's what's causing artifacts, and the text has just always been shitty. And then the way the code interacts, it's really good. I really do like NGUI, but I think it's time to switch. And to anybody who doesn't know, the guy who made NGUI went and made the new UI for Unity. I call it new, but it's fucking years old now. So it's really good. It's very similar, but there's like for example, hovering over something, clicking something, dragging something, it doesn't work the same as the old one. So I do have to rewrite, and like I said, there's thousands of parts, so that's going to be who knows how long. And then the new zone, I feel like Yeti's gonna tear that up, but I'm definitely gonna help. I think it's gonna take roughly 200 hours. So 100 on me, 100 on him. You know, if you figure that'd be like 2.5 weeks if you do 40 hours a week. So that's 80, yeah, 2.5 weeks. If we're on that exclusively. But as you can see, I have ADD very badly. And yeah, so this server thing, I have some other ideas that I'm gonna play with before I commit. But once I get going on it, it shouldn't be too bad. The other idea, I'll just throw this down real quick since I already babbled about it. So we're still using this as just tossing packets around. That's all it does. So this has no brain. SmartFox, just no brain. Not saying it can't do it. It can. I just don't like that, and I think it's way more work to try to build it on SmartFox or any of the other options. Dark Rift. I mean, you'd be better off just using built-in, honestly, because then your classes are interchangeable. Whatever. Fuck it. So one thought is you could have, and this is probably nothing new, but it just occurred to me that I could have like a user. So imagine each of these is a version of Unity, just like the game that I open up. It doesn't need everything that this game needs. And this is the client, this is the player. So this one could just track like chat, who's online, friends, guild, whatever, all that shit. Then you could have one for combat. And what this would do for me is I could develop them in modules, basically. What was another one? Instances could be separated. So instancing, which then you'd have this one could manage the dictionaries of random dungeons. We'll just say RD, random dungeon, whatever. And that's going to be a list of numbers as to how the tiles fit together. You know, is there a hall, and then does it go left, and then does it have a big room here or whatever. So each of these would have to have an ID number, say that's 12 and this is 10, and then they got to fit together with the piece that's named 4, and then 4 with the rotation, blah blah blah. So that would have a lot to do. It'd keep track of kills, which enemies are dead. It could keep track of timer when the dungeon times out. And then I think I'll do a loot operation. Then we can work in like round robin. If you played WoW, you know what I mean. Yeah, whatever. You could have a master loot. So I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think about that, but I think that would be a pretty logical and easy approach, because if I'm working on this one, then that one can just default back to the old system that I currently have while I work on that. But all these other three will still keep working. I don't know. Whatever. I'm done streaming, guys. That was boring, but I'm just trying to give people a more in-depth look at the complexity of the situation, and it is going to take some time, but I'm pretty damn decided on this model until it breaks, and then okay, let's work out a different one. But the logic, that sounds horrible, but the logic is there. So, and again, not calling you guys out, anybody who said this, but rewrites, they just don't make sense to me. If you've already got the logic there, you would take the logic and just reappropriate it to the new model. It's why rewrite completely? It makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. Okay. Yep. You guys are awesome. I don't even know what to say. Some of you guys are so freaking amazing. I mean, I see you guys. I do. The guys who support, and it's unbelievable. I feel bad. I feel like, I mean, it makes me sad. I feel like I let you guys down because I expected to be so much further by now. But I hired the wrong people, bet on the wrong horse, whatever. And then just the complexities of trying to manage. And I don't have a ton of business experience, but definitely, this the game industry is different. There's a lot of pitfalls, a lot of ways you can fuck up, and a lot of challenges. Customer service is holy shit painful. I don't have a solution for it. I'm sorry. So if you've messaged me and I haven't got back to you, I am sorry. I don't know how to deal with all the messages and continue working. It's insane. Like, you could have a conversation with just a handful of people in text and it can completely disrupt your whole day of your 8 hours of work. So whatever. I'm done. You guys are awesome. Love ya.